This is a patch of ground that was covered up by plywood and a trailer. And you can see between where it's black, the soil still now. And you look at the vegetation here, the dandelions, the mallow, the plantain, and look at how green they are.
You can see actually the outline of where the trailer used to be.
Yeah, you can see, that's what I'm getting at. Now, yeah, it's only, it was about a month ago. Now, this is just a simple thing somebody can do in their backyard. They don't have to have a lot of ground. They can have just a piece of ground, 4x4, and put a piece of plastic down that's dark in color or a sheet of plywood and stick it on the ground and kill off the grass like this. Everything gets died down and leave it there for a few months until it comes to dark soil. And then you take it back up, and your dandelions, plantain, and whatever herbs and medicine you really need in your area will grow first before the grass. It'll come up, and you can see by the color of the green. Like, look, look at the difference. You can see a dandelion here, and this dandelion here, it's just like it's alive. You can see it's bright and shiny looking, and it's telling you it's full of nutrition. And we're gonna make a salad from this here. We're gonna pick a big salad bowl full, fresh, and add our flowers to it, and we're gonna have a great meal.
So this is where an unwanted thing was just a little while ago.
That's right.
And what most people would consider dead no man's land.
Yeah, dead soil. And in less than a month, look what you have.
Right. And people would probably be afraid to touch this because it's like icky, who knows what was in that ground. Like maybe some oil dripped out of the trailer or something? Or
no, it was just a car trailer. There was no, I wouldn't worry about that. But look, just look how the soil has rebuilt and how these plants have just come all back to life. And look at the energy. You can see it. You can just look around and you notice this piece of ground stands out because it's full of life.
This is great.
And, you know, I look at this and everybody will say, well, that's just a patch of weeds. You know, I've got enough food here to last me all summer, just from this little 8x10 section of ground. I can come here every day right till the end of October and eat every day. And
the garden that grew itself.
Grew itself. I didn't have to work for it. I didn't have to do anything for it. I just come and pick it, harvest.
And the more you pick it, the more it grows.
More it grows. This is so simple for anyone to do. Anybody can do this. Just throw a sheet of plywood on the ground, anything. And look, you don't even have to plant anything and it's just growing. I mean, I just can't believe that nobody else can figure this out. I'm the only person in the universe that see this. This is not rocket science. It's just easy. Leave it there for a month, pick it up, and let it grow by itself. You don't even have to water it. Just so simple and easy. Anyway, we're gonna go get a bowl and we're gonna eat lunch. People will tell me all the time that they worry about, oh, you know, did a dog pee on this or did somebody else do that or whatever. I don't worry about it. It had enough moisture last night that the rain fell on this and the dew, and it's fresh.
Urine is water soluble.
Yes, it is. And if you get a cut or a bad infection in your skin and you can't get rid of it, pee on yourself. It's the quickest way to heal your skin. Your body provides you what you need. But most people won't pay attention to that. And you can see the differences in the types of dandelion. Some have more jagged tooth. See this? There's a more jagged tooth dandelion and a more smooth tooth dandelion. It's the same plant, family of plant. Okay, this should make a reasonable salad now for the three of us to eat, plus what we have with the wildflowers. It's going to be a nice, nutritious meal. We're going to feel wonderful afterwards with no side effects. I'm just going to show everybody about the plantain, how the seeds are coming on it now and how you can harvest it for the fall for yourself. Okay, this is plantain, and you can see that even though I've been cutting it with the lawnmower here, you know, it's putting out the little seeds, the stems, because it wants to reproduce itself. And what I'll do is I will wait till these stems here get a little bit taller, and they'll start to turn brown, much darker brown than that. Usually the best time for me is September. I like to pick them in September. I go up north to my property outside of Sudbury. I pick them in September. I'll just pull a little stem out of the ground like this, and I'll put
That's psyllium husk.
yeah, 500 of these stems, or 1,000 of them. I pick a garbage bag full. I lay them out on a cookie sheet and I let them dry, and if I happen to be sitting down watching TV or something, you know, just relaxing, take my thumb and my finger and I just shred them off, the dry seeds like this, onto a cookie sheet, and I let them finish drying, and then I pour them into a mason jar. And then all winter when I'm eating food or making soup or stir fry or you know, whatever I'm eating, I put some of this in it, and it's just excellent for the digestion, stomach lining. It has all kinds of minerals and vitamins. And I also pick the leaves and I dry them, and I grind them into a powder and I throw them into a stir fry or put them in soup. It's excellent for your body.
Plantain's also really good for your prostate.
Yep. It is very good for your prostate health. It's very good for the urinary tract as well.
As is the mallow.
Yeah. And any type of insect bite, damage to your skin,
This is the plant.
this is the plant. Stick it on. I've taught my children, we're in the bush, Northern Ontario, mosquitoes are bad. Horse flies an inch long, they bite you. You just rub it up like this to make the green dye, or stick it in your mouth, chew it, spit it on it, hold it there for a little bit, and that green chlorophyll with its properties in it just pulls the poison
Especially
out.
from that plant. Show us what one leaf looks like with the ridges in it. Good telltale leaf.
Yeah, the plant has a unique design to it. First of all, it always grows 5 leaves in a circle, and then that 5 leaves grow 10 leaves. It always grows like in a 5-leaf circle. And every leaf, if you turn it over, it has these nice veins going through it. See, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 veins in the leaf.
It's like the number 5.
Yeah, it just grows that way. And it can get big, this big around sometimes.
Huge.
If it's grown, if it stays in the same spot, like if you didn't cut this and it grew next year, 4 or 5 years from now, it would be a huge plant, very tall, big leaves. But then the leaves get kind of really woody and tough, and they're pretty hard for you to digest. The best time to eat them is when they're nice and tiny like this.
Young leaves are always the best.
Yeah,
That's a good patch of it right there.
Yeah, I have a plantain supply for the rest of my life. And then some. Okay, this is burdock leaves and burdock plants when they're very small and young. I touched them with my foot here. These are the small plants. You know, and anytime if you cut it off, or it'll grow back nice and tiny like this.
And these leaves can get really big.
Yes.
That's kind of a telltale sign of burdock.
Yeah, and you know, it's kind of stringy on the bottom and it's hairy on top. It has a texture like a leathery feel to it.
The famous part is the root.
Yeah, very few people eat the leaves or consume the leaves in any way, or the burrs can be eaten as seeds. You can grind them up as powder and make food from
break
that.
open the prickly part and there's a seed inside, or the whole
No, the
prickly
whole
thing?
thing is little seeds. So you grind it all up. It's
whole
tiny.
prickly thing.
Yeah, it's all seeds. So you grind it all up, grind it like powder, so you can consume it. But the root is the best part. When I was a kid, my grandmother would always go to the big burdock root and throw her apron around it and her smock, and she'd pull it out of the ground and scrape off the root, slice it up, and she'd cook it on top of potatoes. And my brother and I would fight who could scrape the bottom of the pan. I'll tell you, it has a unique taste. It adds flavor to your food, and medicinally, there's not many plants that can rebuild your blood better than burdock root. It's historically been talked about in every medical and science journal for hundreds of years. Burdock root is something good for your blood. It's a blood builder. Yeah, we still cut it off.
We'll show it anyway.
Okay.
So you cut it off, but it's still a root.
Yeah, you see it's a root. So you wouldn't eat the upper part. You would take this part off here, twist it off. These two parts here. And now you'd get all the dirt off, scrape this. And it's white, fleshy, it's tough. I don't really recommend everybody eat this raw. It's something that you need to cook, in my opinion. But anyway, you could grind it up and powder it like tea and make tea from it. It's done that all the time. But I scrape it off nice and clean and I slice it. And I just throw it in with my stir fry.
Or you could just dry it and put it in a grinder, like a coffee grinder, and make a powder out of it. And
yeah.
Make a, and then drink that in water or something.
Yeah, you could do that. But if you look at it, it's a pretty fleshy type material. It's almost a wood grain material, Yeah. And but it's very good for your health. It just does something for your blood that nothing else can do.
Yeah, burdoc's really good for detoxing people.
Yeah. Well, it builds your blood, so it helps the liver detoxify, but it just really works on your blood. I notice when people start consuming this, if I look at their blood, I go to a clinic and someone examines their blood right away, the red blood cells start looking round and not stuck together just from consuming this. This is flowers that we picked from our garden in our backyard. That's more like a weed garden than a real actual garden. But anyway, these are lettuce that I have growing from the chicory family. We have lettuce that grows every year. It came from my Italian neighbor. And here's the wild carrot flowers. And here's oregano flowers. And these are pumpkin flowers. And then we have, this is from the family of mustard, but it's a purple mustard. It's a European weed that grows here everywhere. And I also cook the leaves from this. They're kind of furry to eat raw, but I guess you can. I like to eat the flowers raw though. And this is spinach leaves that we chopped up in the bottom here. And this is sweet basil. This is a basil family. It grows every year. It has a square stem like a mint, but it's a cross of a family between oregano and mint and something else, and it makes a basil favored plant, and they call it sweet basil. And the flowers from that look like this. This is this basil flower, sweet basil, that grows this little tiny purple flower. And once it makes seeds, they blow in the wind, and that plant will spread from root and seed everywhere. Like a weed. It has the power of a weed too. And let me see here, something else. Okay, and this is a tiny little end of a flower of lemon balm. This is the lemon balm flower, and you'll see that again tomorrow growing in my backyard. I like to eat the lemon balm. And then I also I let my garlic just grow, sorry, I was stuck in my finger, these little, the seeds for garlic. You can plant those and they'll grow a garlic plant.
Well, it's steady. Okay.
And I love to throw those in a salad too. They're just excellent in taste, and they're just sitting on there, a little white cluster. You just clean off the cluster and throw them in. And a fresh cucumber from our garden, small like this, nice and tender. So now we're going to add that to our dandelions and our plantain that we picked earlier, and with a little bit of mallow, and we're going to have a fantastic salad. I always worried that, if the power was off, if I couldn't get to the store to buy certain little ingredients that I could consume, what would I do for food? And the more I started thinking about it, I said, well, I got to kind of be self-sufficient. I had to get off the grid, or I had to get off of the system that would stop me from being able to have what I needed. And I was so concerned about it, I just got to the point where I was kind of getting paranoid. I was thinking, if something should happen to the system, wow, what am I going to eat? And I didn't know what I could eat. I was just basically, looking at life and saying, wow, if I should get sick somehow that I can't eat food,
can't go to the grocery store.
Yeah, I can't go to all the restaurant or anything. I can't get to my beekeeper to get some honey. What am I going to do? And so I started just looking at all kinds of things and paying attention to them. And I like when I make a salad like this. I think this is artwork. I mean, I'm an artiste. You know, you're eating food and it looks so beautiful. Sometimes I sit down at lunchtime and have a salad and from my backyard, and I think, wow, yeah, I got to take a picture of this. You know, nobody's going to believe I'm eating something that looks so beautiful. Instead of me buying a flat screen TV and having, you know, the latest gizmo from Hollywood or the store, I have a piece of land that I can have whatever I need now. Because, you know, in a time of desperation or destitution, people will be coming to me looking for something to eat because they're going to see I'm healthy and looking good, and they're going to say, I need something. And I'm going to say, well, how much gold do you have? What most people don't realize is all economies around the world are still based on what you can eat. It's food. I mean, you need water, you need fresh air, and you need food. So I tell you know, something that come into my mind, you know, if you don't think the air is important, so hold your breath. How long can you live? Well, how long can you live without water? 3 days, 4 days, according to medical terms, right? But you can only go maybe a month or a month and a half without decent food, and you really start to get very sick. So these things are what all the economies around the world are really based on, and nobody really values them anymore. But I think there's going to be a rude awakening coming very shortly with certain things that are going to might happen to the earth that, you know, are just coming because man has interfered too much and not paid attention to what real economy should be made about. It's what you grow outside, what you take care of. That's what's valuable.